fun. So this is what happened. I've been looking into getting an N64 for the longest time, which I've said on stream before because I said, you know what, I haven't had the opportunity to play a lot of the old systems because I never had a childhood, essentially, is what I got to the point of. And
yeah, human drawing 101. Sorry.
And so I never got around to actually owning any of the systems or playing any of the games. I have never really played that many Nintendo games, to be honest. I haven't played pretty much any Nintendo games. So I was like, okay, I need to start off with an N64. That's the system I... Okay, we'll talk about emulators later. Anyways.
Wait, what? Yeah, that's what I was telling.
No, okay.
Dexter.
So I was like, I need to, you know, get my hands on a system, just for like the nostalgia of it and the nostalgia of not like having the ability to play the games all the time and stuff like that. And I want to get the physical cartridges, and I want to have that.
Blow into them.
Yeah, I want to blow cartridges all day. So it was a really big desire for me, right?
Yeah.
And what? And so I looked all over the place. I looked on eBay and Amazon and local game stores and saw like, okay, what is the price that people are offering the system for? And it's usually around $30 to $50. And I said, okay, I'm gonna look on Craigslist and see if I can get it for cheaper. So I saw one for $29, and the guy had 185 games, is what it was advertised, right? He's like, I got 185 games. I have like a Nintendo system, a bunch of controllers. You can pick the color, etc. And I'm offering the system for $29, and the game is pretty much $20 or cheaper. I was like, okay, this is pretty good. This is cheaper than what I've been seeing on the internet, etc. So I'm looking into it, and I'm sending Nick the like Craigslist ad. I'm like, hey, can you check out and make sure this is a pretty good deal, because I know you know more about old systems than I do. So I had him look into it. Apparently, all the pictures posted with the Craigslist ad were taken straight from Google, and not actually taken pictures of like of the guy's games. They were all not. None of the pictures related to what he was trying to sell. Which is a problem. Nick said that that's actually breaking one of Craigslist rules, because it's like false advertising, and it just, you're like promoting something you don't have, and it's not good. Anyways, I had sent the guy several texts saying, hey, you know, I'd be interested in buying some games and Nintendo 64, etc. Can I meet up and see what you got? And it came down to it to where yesterday would be the day that I'd come see him, and I'd see him right after my classes ended. And I'd just go to his house, which is in kind of a sketchy part of town, and there's like no parking or anything. It's like one of those apartment complexes where it's very limited on space. And it's kind of sketchy because it's right off the highway. Like literally, you don't take any sub roads to get to the apartment. You literally you go on the highway and just turn into a driveway.
Van. He lives in a van.
No, he doesn't live in a van. So Nick was telling me, you know what, this looks like a scam. This guy is posting pictures that don't even relate to what he's selling. I would not go. And I was like,
I really use the bathroom, but I really want to stay for this story, so hurry it up.
Okay, fine.
Actually, no, wait. I'll be right back. You finish telling your story, then I'll come back and tell mine.
Okay, that's perfect. So Nick's telling me, like, okay, for the love of God, Quinn, please don't go. Please don't go. I swear, this guy's gonna stab you. He's gonna shank you. You're gonna be dead. It's just not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good. Everything is gonna be terrible. You're just gonna die. It's gonna be miserable. I'm not gonna be able to get your back because I'm in a different state. And I mean, how are you gonna even? You have to let people know where you're gonna be because you could die. And I'm like, okay, Nick, this guy isn't gonna shank me. Like, what? Okay, yeah, he lives in a sketchy part of town. Maybe he needs the money. I don't know what his thing is. I'm not gonna judge him until I go to his house and I like know who this guy is. If he shanks me, then this guy's a psychopath, and I was probably gonna die anyways. So whatever. And then he tells his roommate, Kevin, which some of you know, and so Kevin's like, "Oh yeah, you shouldn't. That's totally sketch. Don't do it. You'll die. We'll never hear from you again." I don't know what that lag was though. I'm like, you guys are ridiculous. They're like 20. They're like 5 years. Both these guys are like 5 years older than me plus, and they're just like, "Oh no, it's too scary, man.
All right, I'm back.
It's too scary. You'll never come back alive." And I'm like, you guys are wimps. All right, you guys are wimps.
See, I told you, everyone is agreeing with
No,
you.
let's just finish my end, and then you can hate on me.
All right.
So I'm like, okay, you guys are wimps. I'm just gonna go and talk to this guy. Eventually, the guy calls me up and he's like, "Where are you at? You know, I've been waiting, kind of here, waiting for you. Are you coming or not?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming." I'm pretty scared though, because Nick has been freaking me out about this. So I drive over to the guy's house. I'm like calling him while I'm driving. I'm like, "Okay, I have a big car right now. I don't know if I'll be able to fit in your driveway or whatever. Can you help me out? You know, are you sure I'm gonna be able to fit in here?" Because essentially what I'm trying to get at is that I want to park away from his complex, so he can't like rob me and then steal my car or something. So I'm like, you know, I've got a big car. Maybe I should park away from your house. And he's like, no. He's like, "Here, I'm coming out of the house right now. I'll show you where to park." So
Comes out in a bathrobe.
no, so I'm like driving. I don't know which turn I take, like which driveway I take, because there's no numbers on the driveway, so I'm kind of guessing where I'm going. So I turn into one of these places. There's a guy coming out, a Hispanic guy comes out, and he's like pointing me to an area. This guy's actually really tall. He was like 6'3" or something. I was kind of getting scared. But I was like, "No, I gotta look tough. Can't let this guy touch my butthole just yet. I gotta give up a fight at least." So I park the car, and then I get out of the car, and he's like, first thing he says is, "Okay, you're good."
Quinn does gaming.
No, he's like, "You're gonna have to straighten out your car, repark." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "All right."
How badly parked was it?
No, so he had me park like there was no parking. He just had me park like.
My garage.
No, he had me park in the driveway. Like, it wasn't a driveway. It's one of those where you have to drive back into the apartment complex, you know? Like, it's the road to the apartment complex. And he's like, "Here, just park on the side of the road." And I was like, "Okay." And I was super nervous, right? So I get out of the car. I almost forget my phone. I have to like grab my phone and everything. I'm like, "Okay, just in case, you know, I don't want to die here." And like before all this, I even took a bunch of money out of my wallet because I didn't want him to take everything I own. So I'm like preparing.
That was because I told you to.
Yeah, well that too. And I was like, "Oh God, I don't want to get raped."
He's like, I'm like, "How much money are you bringing with you when you're going?" And you said $400.
Well, it's just what I carry around. All right.
And I was like, "You bringing $400 to a scammer's house?"
Well, I don't know. Anyway,
he's like, "How much would you bring?" And I was like, $50.
Anyways,
At most.
Anyways, oh, that teammate killed you. Sorry. I get out of the car. He's like, he's having me follow him. But for the first thing I do, I'm like, "Okay, what's your name?" Because I don't know this guy's name. I don't know anything about it. If worst comes to worst, and I need to like send Nick some information about where I am and where I might be buried, you know, I want to at least know this guy's name. So he tells me his name. His name's Sean. He shakes my hand, and I'm like, "Okay, all right." And then he starts walking me over to his apartment, which is like it's far away from where I parked. And I'm like, "Okay, this is getting kind of sketch." It looks like there's a woman, like some hooker, like just sitting, like, I don't even know, just like sitting on the porch of someone's house, like with multicolored hair and like drooling. And I was just like really scared. I was like, "Oh God, this is like some meth place or something." This is where all the like homeless come to get high or something, freaking out. So eventually, I go into his house, and to my surprise, it's one room. It's a one-room apartment, and in this room, I see the most amount of games and video game content I have ever seen in one place. This room is literally packed everywhere. Just games, game systems, old systems, new systems, everything. The like newest system, he had a PS4, Wii U, Xbox One. He had Super Nintendo, he had N64. He had everything just hooked up, and all these games. And I was like, oh, he's a collector. And then I took some panoramic pictures and sent them to Nick, and it was like, screw you guys. You got me so worked up, and this guy's just a collector, and he's just like a nice citizen. And oh my god, you had me so scared and worried about this guy. And he was just this super cool video game collector. Okay, he still might have tried to scam me, because he did scam me to a point where he did charge me more than he said he would. And I felt pretty bad about that. But this guy had like so many games, it was ridiculous. So many games. And this is the entirety of his house, of his apartment. A bed, a comfortable chair, which I'm assuming he games in. So a bed, a comfortable chair, his son, and then literally shelves upon shelves upon shelves of games, classic games, all of them mostly classic. Just shelves upon shelves. His entire closet was nothing. He took out the doors of his closet and made it just more shelves for his games. Like I didn't actually see any clothes, to be honest. Like maybe that's not even his house. Maybe that's just an apartment he rents out to hold all his games. But it was really crazy. Another thing is, like, once I walked in, right, his son is laying on the ground, and there's not enough room to really stand in this room. His son's laying on the ground, and I can't move because his son's like laying on the ground.
How old is his son? 24?
No, his son. No, okay, the guy was probably around like 30 something. His son was probably like 3 or 4 years old. His son just laying on the ground, and he's like, all right, move. All right, move. Get up, man. Get up, man. I need, there's a guy here. I need to sell him stuff, whatever. Just move. And the kid's like, I don't wanna. And so I'm just like staring at the kid, like with a death glare, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, man? You gonna have your dad come over here and kick your ass? Or you gonna move for me? I'm providing you with cereal in the morning. All right.
What's a dad gonna do? Take away his video games?
I don't even know.
Where would he hide them?
I don't even know. Like, yeah, exactly. Where would he even, like, what would he do? There's not enough room to really do much or punish him from video games or anything. So this kid's like laying on the ground, and he like almost starts crying about it, and I'm like, oh my, this is gonna be really weird. Eventually, I just like step around the kid, and then the kid like starts playing Battlefield 4 or something. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then the dad comes out with like a box of like a bunch of N64 games and the system and stuff, and he's like, all right, here, if you buy a bunch, you'll get a deal, etc. Also, I asked him how much he would be willing to sell all of them for. Guess what he said? What price do you think is reasonable, Nick, to sell roughly?
Reasonable, or what he suggested?
No, reasonable.
For 185 games?
185 games and the system plus controller, wires, all that.
Reasonable, 750, maybe up to $900.
Okay, I asked him. He was like 1,500 probably.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, forget this guy, screw him. But
you can't do a wholesale lot and charge that much.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. Cause I'm like, all I was thinking was like, what happened to deal? He was supposed to like offer me a deal if I bought a lot. That's not a deal.
Right.
It's probably like that's probably even worth. That's more than it's probably even worth by itself. because a lot of the games were nothing really special, like Pro Golf or something. Like, who gives a crap about that? So I was like, wow, damn, he's charging a lot more than I thought he would. So it's kind of a situation I don't want to be in, where he's going to charge me a bunch of money for something that's worth less. So kind of got stuck in that situation where he was charging me a bunch for games, which I didn't really like. But what are you going to do, right? So eventually I get the system, I get the games. Kind of rips me off a little bit. It cost me like $80 for Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, and the system. So I don't know. I felt like that wasn't reasonable, but apparently, Nick, that's reasonable or something. That's decent. Not a deal.
That's all right. Yeah, that's fine.
So I don't know. And that was my experience. I came back home. I looked at his ad. His ad said that he was offering the games for less than what he charged me. So I sent him a text saying, like, what? Why'd you charge me more than you said you were going to? And then what about a deal? I thought you were going to give me a deal because I bought, like, 3 things. And then he's like, oh, sorry, whatever. See ya, go buy them on eBay. Screw you, kind of thing. And that was my experience. Now, Nick, tell me your side of the story. Let's hear it.
Before I tell my side of the story, I just want to hear from the chat. Would you have gone to this guy's apartment from just hearing what Quinn said? That's what I want to know. Do I even have to tell my side of the story? I mean, I'm going to tell the side of the story because it's funny.
All right, do it.
But I want to hear what they have to say.
Let's do it.
First.
Just do it.
All right. So Quinn's been sending me. He's telling me about N64 stuff for a while. I've been looking into deals for him, trying to find the best deal for him. And everyone's saying.
I know. Oh. You're all pansies.
So I'm looking into it for him. I find stuff on Amazon. Amazon's a little expensive when it comes to getting all the wires and controllers. eBay's alright. But Quinn sends me this the Craigslist one. And at first I'm like, this seems sketchy because in the title it's like, it's got a bunch of exclamation points, a bunch of stars, and I hate when Craigslist ads do that. It's unprofessional and it just seems scammy to me. So I'm like, all right, and then I'm like, it's all right. It's an all right deal, I guess. Blah blah blah. I start looking into it. The guy mentions that he has a gray Zelda Ocarina of Time cartridge, and I'm like, all right, that's fine. But then I look at the picture he posted, and I only see a gold version of the game.
Also, the N64 is just like the normal N64. I don't know if they come in different colors or something.
The gold cartridge of Zelda is the limited edition one.
Well, no, they're just asking what color was the actual system.
Oh, the actual system? I don't know. I'm guessing gray.
Yeah, it's just gray. It's not like. Are there multiple colors?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, continue.
And I'm like, that's weird. And then I started thinking, like, these pictures don't seem right because in one, he had 2 copies of Conker's Bad Fur Day. And then things weren't adding up, so I take the image, and there's a reverse image search engine, if you don't know, and I put that in there, and the image is a meme. Like, people use it as a crappy meme. I was reading some of the memes, and I'm like, wow, this is really awful, but it's like, this is a scam. It's obviously not his image, and I was like, I tried to find it on Google Image, typed in N64 games, and it was the second image. And then the other image he used was on the 3rd line of the image search. What also was weird, he put in-game pictures of Mario 64.
He put pictures of gameplay on the ad. Like,
yeah,
there were
like stock images.
Yeah, there were stock images of box art, and there was like gameplay images. So it was kind of. It looked pretty crappy, I'll admit.
Yeah, it looked unprofessional. It breaks rule number 2 of Craigslist. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. So
And I'm like, Quinn's like, what game should I get? And I text him, I'm like, I'm not even sure if I want you to go. Like, I'm about to tell you not to go at all. And Quinn's getting a little upset because he really wants this N64 and he's willing to put his life on the line for it, I guess. And he's getting upset with me, I can tell, but I don't want to have to, like, call the police and be like, yeah, my friend, I don't really know where he lives, but he went to get some N64 games, and I haven't heard back from him for a while. Can you go maybe find out where he is? That would be awkward. The police would probably think I was prank calling him or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm halfway across the country from him. So, and I was like, Quinn, do you have any people around you? Like, can you tell your parents or something that you're going so they can keep in, you know? And he's like, no, I'm house sitting where I'm at.
Yeah. So I told him, well, I'm actually house sitting for like my mom. So she's in like Europe or something. And there's like no one here really. And I'm
the closest person to Quinn.
Basically, the person I've talked to the most while I'm house sitting is Nick. Yeah.
And I'm to the point where I'm like telling him, don't go. And Quinn's like fighting me on it. He's like, you're just.
I'm like, yeah, you guys are wimps, man. It's gonna be some nice guy.
Like, I was like, all right, I'll get a second opinion. So I asked my roommate, and I'm showing him the ad and whatnot, and he's like, I've done a lot of Craigslist stuff, and this just yells scammy. And then, so you got two opinions against you. And Quinn's like, I'm going. I was like, dude, don't. And I'm trying to like be like, on Amazon, I found one for you, and it's blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I don't want to pay for shipping. And it got to the point where I was like, I'll give you $15 for the shipping so you don't have to go. I was like, I'll give you $15 not to go.
Basically what happened, yeah.
And Quinn's like, no, I'm not taking it. I really want the N64 now. Even though I have classes and I won't be able to play it for a couple days.
Yeah, basically.
And I'm like, dude, don't go. It's scammy. It's just scammy. Everything about it is weird. And he refused. And then he went. And then he sent me the pictures of this guy's house. And I'm like, there's just video games. It's a hoarder house. That's what it was. A hoarder house of video games. And of course there's like not to make fun of anyone's religion, of course he had a giant cross.
Oh, he did? I didn't even notice.
What?
I didn't even notice that.
I noticed it right away in the picture. I was like, everything's video game except for the giant cross on his wall.
Oh my god.
And I was like, alright.
It's Northern California. North of San Francisco.
Yeah, he's in California, one of the most dangerous states.
Apparently, that's one of the most dangerous states, which I don't understand why. Why is that a thing? Like, is people?
I don't know. We looked it up, and Tennessee's actually the most violent crime state.
Followed by what?
I don't know, but Tennessee's right next to me, so I'm a little worried.
Wow. Oh my god, it's 11:30. My class starts in half an hour.
When do you have to go?
I have to go right now, but I'll wait and just keep going. Finish your story first.
I don't know. That's like the end of the story. He ended up getting his N64, got scammed a little, and was upset about it. And I was just like, eat that money that you overpaid. Could have bought the shipping.
Yeah,